I've got a BMW 128i 2009 and I love it. But for the first time in my few years of owning it, it did something today that made me feel like it didn't love me back. And that was the trunk became paralyzed when the convertible top was in an error mode. And as far as I can tell, the only way to resolve this was to take out the back seat, readjust the convertible top tray, and then everything started working again. So just to go through what happened, this little plastic tray here got bumped and was out of its ready position to receive the top. I got in the car with the top up, tried to retract it using these buttons, and I got a red flashing error. Now, I've been through this before and knew immediately that it was that tray was out of position. So I got out of the car, went to the back, and tried to open the trunk, and nothing happened. Nothing at all. Nothing from the key fob, nothing from the kick panel button. I checked in the glove box to confirm that the valet lockout switch was in the unlock position. It was. And then I jumped on YouTube to see if I could find a solution to the problem. Didn't really get one. So that's why I'm doing this. Hope it's helpful to other people. I took out the back seat. The bottom one just pops right out. The top back of the back seat is tricky because you need to remove those two bottom bolts there and there. And then you need to carefully wiggle off these pieces to allow the seat to come up and out of these hangers that it sits in. So these little pieces are a complete pain. And the reason for that is that in order to release them, you need to get these little tabs released. And you need to do it from the inside using a small screwdriver. This is the small screwdriver that I used, and that black mark there is the depth that the thing needs to go in order to release that little side tab there. So you got to get your screwdriver in that deep and pull that away. Now, you're just really stabbing in the dark with this thing. But one thing that I realized I was doing wrong on a few occasions was that I was letting this go back too quickly. So you need to be applying upward pressure on this. And for that, I used some plastic interior panel puller tools and stuck them underneath this against the top of the seat. Got this thing down. And then once I got that screwdriver in there, when I released it, I was careful to lift it up gently so that this thing wouldn't go ting back into place. So before I put these things back in, I've actually broken off the tabs from the inside of each side. And I think having just one tab on each side will both be completely adequate to keep it in position and make it much easier if I ever need to go through this again. So after getting those little panels off the top, the back seat lifts up pretty easily. Just make sure it's not catching on those bolts when you pull it. And then from there, because I don't have the ski pass-through in this car, I grabbed the utility knife and I just cut the top here. Made a spot that's big enough to stick my hand through. Got my arm in there, pushed the back of that convertible storage tray into position, And the second it popped in, I got a little trunk open light warning on the dashboard. Not sure why. The trunk was most certainly not open, but clearly there is a relationship between the convertible top being in error mode, as shown by these LEDs above the open button flashing red, and the operability of the trunk electronics. So once I got that convertible tray back in position, I fully opened the top. The error mode on these convertible operation buttons went away, and everything started working again as far as the trunk goes. So now I just have to put it back together. But I hope this is helpful for anybody else who runs into a headache like this. It was seemed pretty easy to do, and I can't believe I hadn't encountered it earlier in my ownership, but there you go. Enjoy your winter.